of our Lord Sri Aurobindo. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo says there is no room, certainly, for despair. The bliss always comes in drops, at first, or broken trickle. You have to go on cheerfully and in full confidence till there is the cascade. With always our love and blessings, says our Lord Sri Aurobindo. Sri Aurobindo's Savitri, Book 3, the Book of the Divine Mother, Canto 2, the Adoration of the Divine Mother, page 354. Abolishing the signless emptiness, breaking the vacancy and voiceless hush, piercing the limitless unknowable into the liberty of the motionless depths, a beautiful and felicitous lustre stole imaged itself in a surprising being and built a golden passage to his heart, touching through him all longing sentient things. A moment's sweetness of the all-beautiful cancelled the vanity of the cosmic realm. A nature throbbing with a heart divine was felt in the unconscious universe. It made the breath a happy mystery and brought a love sustaining pain with joy, a love that bore the cross of pain with joy. You demonize the sorrow of the world, made happy the weight of long unending time, the secret caught of God's felicity, affirming in life a hidden ecstasy. It held the spirit to its miraculous course, carrying immortal values to the hours. It justified the labor of the suns. For one was there supreme behind the God. A mother might brooded upon the world. A consciousness revealed its marvelous front, transcending all that is, denying none. Imperishable above our fallen heads, he felt a rapturous and unstumbling force. The undying truth appeared, the enduring power of all that here is made and then destroyed. The mother of all Godheads and all strengths, who mediatrix binds earth to the Supreme. Words of our Lord and our Divine Mother, taken from the compilation of the works, Book on Education, Topic: Psychic Education and Spiritual Education. Continuation, page 36. Our Divine Mother says, in spiritual education, the goal you set before you will assume in the mind's formulation of it different names according to the environment in which you have been brought up, the path you have followed, and the affinities of your temperament. Those who have a religious tendency will call it God, and their spiritual effort will be towards identification with the transcendent God beyond all forms, as opposed to the immanent God dwelling in each form. Others will call it the Absolute, the Supreme Origin, others Nirvana, yet others who see and view the world as an unreal illusion will name it the only reality, and to those who regard all manifestation as falsehood, it would be the sole truth. And every one of these expressions contain an element of truth, but all are incomplete, expressing only one aspect of that which is. Here too, however, the mental formation has no great importance, and once you have passed through the intermediate stages, the experience is identical. In any case, the most effective starting point, the swiftest mode, is total self-giving. Besides, no joy is more perfect than the joy of a total self-giving to whatever is the summit of your conception. For some, it is the notion of God, for others, that of perfection. Our Divine Mother says, if this self-giving is made with persistence and ardor, a moment comes when you pass beyond the concept and arrive at an experience that escapes all description, but which is almost always identical in its effects. And as your self-giving becomes more and more perfect and integral, it will be accompanied by the aspiration for identification, a total fusion with that to which you have given yourself, and little by little, this aspiration will overcome all differences and all resistances, especially if with the aspiration there is an intense and spontaneous love, for nothing can stand in the way of its victorious drive. Our Divine Mother says there is an essential difference between this identification and the identification with the psychic being. The latter can be made more and more lasting, and in certain cases, it becomes permanent and never leaves the person who has realized it, whatever his outer activities may be. In other words, the identification is no longer realized only in meditation and concentration, but its effects are felt at every moment of one's life, in sleep as well as in waking. On the other hand, says our Divine Mother, liberation from all form and the identification with that which is beyond form cannot last in an absolute manner, for it would automatically bring about the dissolution of the material form. Certain traditions can say that this dissolution happens inevitably within 20 days of the total identification, yet it is not necessarily so. And even if the experience is only momentary, it produces in the consciousness results that are never obliterated and have repercussions on all states of the being, both internal and external. Moreover, Once the identification has been realized, it can be renewed at will, provided that you know how to put yourself in the same conditions. Our Divine Mother says this merging into the formless is the supreme liberation sought by those who want to escape from an existence which no longer holds any attraction for them. It is not surprising that they are dissatisfied with the world in its present form, but a liberation that leaves the world as it is and in no way affects the conditions of life from which others suffer cannot satisfy those who refuse to enjoy a boon which they are the only ones or almost the only ones to possess. Those who dream of a world more worthy of the splendors that lie hidden behind its apparent disorder and widespread misery. They dream of sharing with others the wonders they have discovered in their inner exploration. And the means to do so is within their reach now that they have arrived at the summit of their ascent. From beyond the frontiers of form, a new force can be evoked, a power of consciousness which is as yet unexpressed, and which by its emergence will be able to change the course of things and give birth to a new world. Our Divine Mother says, for the true solution to the problem suffering, ignorance, and death is not an individual escape from earthly miseries by self annihilation into the unmanifest, nor a problematic collective flight from universal suffering by an integral and final return of the creation to its creator, thus curing the universe by abolishing it, but a transformation, a total transformation of matter brought about by the logical continuation of nature's ascending march in her progress towards perfection, by the creation of a new species that will be to man what man is to the animal, and that will manifest upon earth a new force, a new consciousness, and a new power. And so will begin a new education which can be called the supramental education. It will, by its all, and so will begin a new education which can be called the supramental education. It will, by its all powerful action, work not only upon the consciousness of individual beings, but upon the very substance of which they are built and upon the environment in which they live. In contrast with the types of education we have mentioned previously, which progress from below upwards by an ascending movement of the various parts of the being, the supramental education will progress from above downwards, its influence spreading from one state of being to another, until at last the physical is reached. This last transformation will only occur visibly when the inner states of being have already been considerably transformed. It is therefore quite unreasonable to try to recognize the presence of the supramental by physical appearances, for these will be the last chance. In contrast with the types of education we have mentioned previously, which progress from below upwards by an ascending movement of the various parts of the being, the supramental education will progress from above downwards, its influence spreading from one state of the being to another until at last the physical is reached. Our Divine Mother says this last transformation will only occur visibly when the inner states of being have already been considerably transformed. It is therefore quite unreasonable to try to recognize the presence of the supramental by physical appearances, for these will be the last to change, and the supramental force can be at work in an individual long before anything of it becomes perceptible in his bodily life. To sum up, says our Divine Mother, one can say that the supramental education will result no longer in a progressive formation of human nature and an increasing development of its latent faculties, but in a transformation of the nature itself, a transfiguration of the being in its entirety, a new ascent of the species above and beyond man towards Superman, leading in the end to the appearance of a divine race upon earth.